Hi, Chris McClune here for Live at FDIC. Brought to you by Firehouse Subs, the firefighter-founded hot sub chain with a passion for hearty and flavorful food, heartfelt service, and public safety. You ready for your next mission? Firehouse Subs is offering firefighters the opportunity to continue serving after service now as restaurant owners. Learn more at www.firehousesubsfranchising.com. Well, again, this is Chris McClune here at Live at FDIC. I'm joined right now by Azael Garcia and Tanner Jacob. They are with Harrison Hydra-Gen. And we all know, well, most of us know Harrison Hydra-Gen. I've known them for all the years that I've been in the fire services. My rigs carry Harrison Hydra-Gen generators on them.
That's correct.
But as we know, over the years, there's been a lot of many advances in battery technology that do a lot for us when we're on the scene. We talk about idle reduction and things of that nature, and fuel savings that come along with that. But before we jump into what we're going to talk about today, which is H-Power, wanted to talk to you about just a brief history of Harrison Hydra-Gen. I'll start with you over there, Azael. Just a brief history of Harrison Hydra-Gen, how long you've been around, and some of the innovations through the years.
Correct. So Chris, thanks for having us. Harrison Hydra-Gen has been around since 1969. Our bread and butter has been fire trucks, the generators on the fire trucks, and we've been providing mobile power with the engine on this entire time. So recently we decided to go a different route, provide mobile power with the engine off now, and that's what we're introducing our lithium battery idle mitigation system, and we call H-Power.
Okay. Now, really, as I said, there's a lot that goes along with this. As we were talking about earlier before we started, I always think of battery systems on ambulances or on fire apparatus as a way to mitigate idle. We've heard about ambulances idling on the street sometimes for long
Correct.
periods of time, back at the emergency room. Apparatus often, or we don't go to jobs every time we go out, so they're often sitting maybe for an automatic fire alarm, depending on how long it takes you to track it down. Sitting for several minutes, obviously idling. So for to get us started, Tanner, I'll turn to you. Can you explain what H-Power is and how it's transforming power management for emergency vehicles, like ambulances, like fire trucks as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So H-Power actually started as a request from City of Houston Fire Department in 2017. They asked for a simple solution, which was give them 30 minutes of power off should they have a engine or generator failure on their rig. So that's where it started in 2017. At that time, we built 14 units for them. It was new for us. We depended a lot on a third-party engineering company to kind of partner with our engineering team to build that, and it went out there. What we did in the very first compared to where we are now is data. The world changes with data. This week you're going to see nothing, or you can see all kinds of stuff talking about how we can improve with the data we get. So currently we're on our second generation system, and that was released in 2021, and we're still building right now in our second generation system, but that actually gave us live real-time data every minute. So we were lucky enough to have a customer, East Baton Rouge Parish, that gave us a brand new truck, and we built a prototype. When we built the prototype, we actually did not engage with a third party and did that all through our own engineering company. My background is 10 years in ambulance sales and 19 years as a full-time paramedic. So that, along with our engineering group, we brought the second generation system. I'm happy to say that truck, went in service that moment, got wrecked recently, so it's getting fixed. But on that one truck, in the time that they've had it, it's right under 30,000 in fuel savings on that single truck.
Oh, wow.
So where we're at today right now is just how can we take that a step further. So we monitor different areas of temperature, power consumption, and how we can help the fleet better. Something that you see a lot we're in Houston is hot summers. Temperatures are so hot, and a crew might report an HVAC problem or something that's going on. We've built that into our system where remotely the fleet techs can see what's going on with that system, how much power is being used by it, what's the chassis doing. So all of these things are tied in there. The most important thing, though, is Harrison has always been a simple solution, I would say. And when you look at the history since '69, and we're over 53 years now of building this, we know that once they hit the field, they have to stay in service. They have to be fixed if they do break very quickly, and they have to be able to be troubleshooted easily. So that's probably one of the key differentiators of when we built this system.
Okay. You mentioned the initial solution that you were asked for was for that 30 minutes of power. Are there any other challenges that these types of systems solve, and how does it make a difference in the field once they're at? We talked a little bit about fuel savings, but there are some other things as well.
Oh, absolutely. So, as you know, everybody's plagued with idle time. Diesel engines, regenerative systems, DPFs getting clogged. What the system does is essentially takes out the user. You pull up to the call or you pull up to the scene, you put the truck in park, you hop out. It shuts down in 2 minutes if all the parameters are met. The truck will then restart itself as long as you let it shut itself off. And it just automatically takes care of itself. One of the big key features that we felt like were something that we couldn't pass up was the user has to have everything available like a regular vehicle. So, and when we look at that, that means HVAC and everything has to continue functioning in the rig in the back. On the fire truck side, we've got some manufacturers that are tied in air conditioning in the cabs of the fire trucks. So really, idle reduction shouldn't come at a cost or expense of the user. It should supplement it, keep these trucks on the road longer, and really drive down the cost to operate them. And that's really what we're seeing in the real world.
I wanted to get back to the data for a second. That was real-time monitoring, correct? Yes. And obviously you need to get the data out of the vehicle to make these sorts of decisions, whether it's predictive maintenance, whether it's maintenance that needs to happen right away. How does that happen? How does the data get from the units on the systems on the trucks out into, back to the fleet manager's office?
Right. So within our system, we've got an LTE connection that's pushing that data out real time. So we can see real time to the second of what's going on the unit. Every minute it's recorded. So in one day, every minute we have recordings of what that was sitting at. Like I said, temperature management is something we look at. On the ambulance side, we look at what's the temperature outside the vehicle, inside the vehicle, maybe your medication, refrigerator. Wherever you can imagine, we can put a sensor. We can do that. The other piece of it is as far as voltage on the chassis. If we see something that's going on that's suggestive of a problem, we can alert to that. The data side is completely, it's constantly evolving. And AI is really where we're moving. So it's just really expensive. So we're slowly making our way there with automatic alerts. We have some of that already. But it's moving really quick. We missed it in the first system, and we didn't have that, and that was the biggest, weakest point. Is we can see what's going on in the field, and really the users didn't know what they needed. They thought they might need a big system, and turns out that a smaller system was completely usable for them. So our design maybe was way overkill in the beginning. So all that's kind of changed what's going on. And then the last thing is really the proof is in the pudding. So when you see the financial benefit of how much money you're saving in not just fuel, one of our customers has a tech that all they do is preventive maintenance, oil changes, and get the trucks back out. And he said he would see the H-Power truck once compared to the other trucks twice. Okay. And that's just from the ground level person. So we know it's working.
wanted to talk a little bit about deployment, like deploying this or installing it is really not what's happening. It's more like specifying it and getting it onto the rigs. But I wanted to talk about it from two different perspectives: from brand spanking new, speccing it into it to a new unit, and can it be retrofitted onto existing units?
So everything that we have right now has been in new design units. It's not a difficult retrofit, and actually I take that back. We have 2 of them that we've done in retrofits and remounts. So it can be done. It just needs to be, it's a team approach with our engineering group to make sure that we tackle everything there and there's everything's lined up. But when you think of from the beginning, you have to think of, do we have the infrastructure to support it? Now, the key is this isn't like DC fast charging type systems. This is a 30 amp and a 20 amp, 120 volt circuit into your fire station. Most places have that, but what we've seen is after the vehicle is built and it goes into the department that it's in or the station that it's in, they might have had a circuit that was once built for maybe a 15 amp battery charger. And that's been converted to now run an ambulance because the EMS side got busier, and the cabling isn't there. So we work with the customer on the front side to make sure that all of the infrastructure is there, and it's not a surprise on the back side. We've it's not really that expensive to fix those things, but it's just a good thing to think about in the beginning. From the manufacturer side, it's just engaging the manufacturer that you're using to make sure that they understand power and that's the request. We're working with many different manufacturers that have the system out there, and they're really all over the U.S. So if you have time and you're here, definitely come by. We've got a map that shows where the trucks are. We can see them live. You can see them moving. You can see exactly what they're doing.
Okay, great. So I talked a little bit about what you'll be showing at FDIC and what FDIC attendees can expect. But what's next for this technology? Was it the AI that you mentioned before, or is there another step that's in the offing that we should be looking for?
Yeah, so predictive maintenance is one of them that we're trying to get more capture. We have the data, just how can we have the robots actually look through it and not the human. The next piece is probably how can we capture more power faster. The lithium ion systems that we're using we can capture it so fast, but we can't produce it on smaller type chassis. Now with Harrison's background of generators, we do have that ability to start the next step of can we put not hydraulic generators, but let's say gear driven generators on these vehicles to capture that power, so when they're moving to the station or moving to the hospital or whatever the case is, the next call, that we can really capture that power while the engine's running and they're going down the road, to load that back up into the batteries to get us more time off. Because ultimately, you have a limited amount of space and a limited amount of package that we can put that power into. So we're going to be, we've already got the project rolling for that, how we can charge faster and get more power on these trucks.
Good deal. Well, Azale, for those who are at the show, where can they find you? And for those who are not at the show, how can they find out more about not only H-Power, but the other products that Harrison Hydra-Gen produces?
So if you're going to be here at FDIC this week, our booth number is 4757. I encourage you guys to come and talk to us, and we can show you and give you more information regarding H-Power. But if you're not able to make it, come visit us or visit us on the web at www.harrisonhydrogen.com and look us up. Our contact's on there, and reach out to us.
All right, perfect. Well, my thanks again to both of you for joining me
for having
today.
me.
Sounds like there's a lot more to talk about with this product than we can do in the time allotted to us here. My thanks also to Firehouse Subs again for sponsoring the podcast booth this week. If you have any questions about FDIC, don't forget to go to www.fdic.com. There's information there on all the classes that are going on this year. If you're still going to get here in a couple days, lots of information there, and lots of information on all the other special events that we have going on. So again, this has been Chris McClune for Live at FDIC. Have a good one and stay safe. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks.